children learn best when they are not hungry or suffering from a nutrient-deficient diet. Yet thousands of our children still arrive at school each day on an empty stomach. And as they head back to school for the new academic year tomorrow, let's talk now to a professional chef with a special interest in child nutrition, Christine Phillips. Christine, thank you for joining us this morning. As we know, kids heading back to school tomorrow, lots of mums having to get to the shops today.
Yes.
Give us some idea as to what a lunchbox like this should include in terms of nutrients and colours and all of that we need to go there.
Well, firstly, you want to make sure that you've got a protein. Okay, very important. You know, for the learning, to sit in class, and you need to have a good protein. So make sure you've packed like a lovely sandwich with some chicken and mayonnaise, some tuna or some eggs or something like that. You need to have a protein, a dairy. So your dairies would be a cheese, a little mini yogurt or drinking yogurt. Fruit, very important. So pack apples or grapes, bananas, whatever your child.
All fruit are good for your child?
Everything.
Okay.
Anything your child enjoys, pack for them. And then I always pack a little bit of veggies, like mine quite enjoy these little peppers, bell peppers, sliced up, put a little packet, that or cherry tomatoes or cucumbers. A little bit of added energy to get them through the day is things like nuts.
It's a toolbox, this is
it
not
is,
even a
it's
lunchbox.
so amazing. So here I've packed some
Nuts.
lovely nuts and then some raisins for a little bit of sweetness and energy as well. You don't want to pack too much sugar.
Okay, so this is the entire thing. This is the lunch and the snack box. Obviously,
Yes.
this is not all one meal. That's
No.
what we're saying. Okay, yes, because they might fall asleep during class. In terms of color, I see you've got lots of color in there. That's also very important because we know all the colors are what's good for you.
Yes, it's all your different antioxidants
can open this up
and
and show us
vitamins.
again,
Yes, try and do different colors. Try and do like a red and a yellow and green if possible, but it's quite difficult. But yes, do lots of different colors. It makes it more attractive to them and gets them more excited about what's in their lunchbox and willing to eat it.
So more or less, how many sort of snacks should we have, or how many things should we have in this box? You spoke about the veggies, you spoke about the fruit, the protein and all of this. So we're looking at about, what,
You're
5 or
looking
6?
about 5 different things, but it
varieties.
also all depends on how long your child is going to be at school for the day. So if it's a short day, you don't have to pack so much stuff. But if your child is going to be a full day at school, then pack lots of extra things so that they're not hungry. They can't learn when they're hungry, and they've got sport. They need the energy to get through the day. And make these things yourself if you can.
If you can. If you can. All right.
If you can.
Yes, top achievers. Something like this can be done the night before, which most mums would need to do.
Yes, you can do most of it the night before. I do prefer making my sandwiches in the morning, but definitely chicken and mayonnaise can be made the night before, no problem. Pop everything in cling film so that it doesn't dry out. But yes, it all can be done.
Christine, I think a big issue for most people would be cost. Not everyone can afford to eat this healthy, and we know healthy is expensive most of the time. Or am I wrong?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It is expensive.
So how does a mum who doesn't have as big a budget to work with still include these things in that lunchbox?
Okay, what is quite important is when you're planning your meal times, what you can do is use a lot of leftovers in your lunch boxes the next day. So pastas can be sent to school the next day as well. Like with the chicken and mayonnaise, you can use the leftover chicken from the night before, just chop up a little bit for the sandwiches. So think about what you're having for your meals. Even leftover sausages or whatever you've had for dinner can be used the next day. But bread is always a cheaper thing for your lunch boxes. Make your own muffins or something like that. It's also much cheaper. But there are cheap fruits out there.
They are cheap. It just depends where you shop and if you shop wisely as well.
Correct.
Now, in terms of keeping these things, I mean, it's still very hot out there, so we're still having a few hot weeks or months ahead of us. We're looking at things like, we say, chicken and mayonnaise and stuff. How do we pack things that will not go off for our kids? I mean, this is not a cooler box.
No, it's not a cooler box, but you know, most of the time these things will be kept in the classroom. Some of the amazing lunchboxes these days do have a little pack inside, but I know that is a little bit more expensive, which you can stick into the freezer, which can keep your lunchboxes cool. But otherwise, you know, they're not going to be sitting out in the sun, and most of it is eaten by 11 o'clock in the morning anyway.
Or before 8 even.
Exactly.
Before assembly. What about tuck shops? How do we stop our kids from, I mean, apart from not giving them money, they probably still get their hands on it anyway. How do we guide them in terms of what they should buy at Tuck?
Well, I think it is very difficult with children because once they have money and they have the freedom at the tuck shop without mum and dad, they will go wild. So I have that experience myself. So the best thing is to actually speak to the tuck shop owner. Put restrictions on accounts, put restrictions on what your children are allowed to have, and actually push the tuck shops to offer much healthier solutions and to cut out on the bad things.
Okay, so go to those meetings at the beginning of the year.
Go to the meetings. Speak to your school and say, you know what, we as parents do not want to have certain things in our tuck shops.
And just very quickly, you do provide moms with some kind of meal plan, or some planned lunches?
Yes, we have an amazing thing on my website from littlecooksclub.co.za. You can get all the lunchbox recipes and schedules, which you can print out and stick on your fridge to make life much easier.
So we don't have to think about it, we just have to go out and buy.
Correct,
Thank you very much. Very handy for lots of mums today. That's Christine Phillips of Little Cooks Club.
Know more about your world.
eNCA.com.